everybody. Welcome back to EPSI Chats. We're back. I don't know if we're back with a bang. It's quite a somber moment for us. A lot has been going on, and this is our special edition, one that coincides with 16 days of activism against gender-based violence against women and children. So it's a very sensitive series. A lot has gone on in our university, in the country at large. And there's a lot of weight on our shoulders right now. And I thought, okay, I need to have a conversation with someone that gets student life, that gets the dynamics of the youth. Mm-hmm. And I've known Kat for a while. The podcast has been ongoing for a while. It's been 2 years of the podcast, and we've never sat down and we've never done this. But we've seen you on the Law Show. We've seen you at CanRad. We've seen you doing big things. But tell us a bit about yourself. Who is Kat? I know who Kat is, but for everybody else, who's Kat? And tell us.
Hello to everybody. I am Katlego Mofokeng. I am currently doing my second year in BA Law. Mm-hmm. I have a degree in politics, philosophy, and economics from the University of Johannesburg. This is my second degree.
You know clock it. I'm learning the phrases. Yes.
I am a social activist. Wow. I think it's very important that young people are conscientized about the things that are happening around them. So part of the work that I do is basically making sure that I empower young people with resources, be it information. Sometimes it is just walking them through a process that they need to get through, but that's about it. I'm a poet, apparently. And I'm many things, but more than anything, I'm a social activist. I think that's what I'm big on.
Nice. I like this. So why University of Johannesburg and then NMU? Like they're worlds apart. Yeah. And why this decision from politics, philosophy, and then now BA Law? Like, what's this transition about? I like it. Mm-hmm. I love intersectionality. I love transdisciplinarity. But, like, from your point of view, like, okay, why move from UJ and end up here? Mm-hmm. And why this transition in your academic journey?
So when I graduated from UJ, I got an internship, and I was working at the Department of Economic Development and Tourism and all the like. And while I was there, we were trying to push for legislation within one of the acts in Johannesburg. And it was marred with like a lot of pushback. We had to put together this document and then submit it and talk to the people. And the MEC was sitting in a meeting with us. And I was like, look, I like what you guys are doing. Like, let's go forth. Literally a week later, the MEC was changed. And so you realize, like, the power that these people wield. And I was just like, I felt powerless at that point in time. Because all I was just a graduate. And I was like, I think if I had the legal discipline or the know-how, I would have been able to maybe push further. So after that, it was just deciding, okay, I want to be able to make a significant impact in the lives of the people that I really have as my community. So it makes sense for me to get a law degree. So at least at the very least, I can stand up and say, you know what, I'm not just an activist, I'm a lawyer, and I'm able to advocate for you professionally. So I decided to come to NMU. Was a very big decision. I decided to come to NMU basically because I like the ocean. I've never been to the ocean, and I decided, you know what? I need
Love
to see the ocean. That's children are the best people. So I decided to come here, and I think I'm glad I'm here.
We, the people of the law of the sea, welcome you into our circle.
Thank you very much.
We bring you into our circle. Yes. So I love this, Kat, and you've shared already some powerful nuggets. We're still quite early on in the episode, but you spoke about powerlessness, and then you said something about feeling like, okay, who am I? I'm just a graduate, and for me, that's like, no, like, ain't no way. Like, I get you. And I think as a Black woman myself, I still struggle with imposter syndrome.
Definitely.
Where I can feel like I've done this really big thing, and then literally the same day I'm like,
that was nothing.
That was nothing.
Imagine.
I have no impact. I have no influence. I have no affluence. Like, so, like, when you said that, I'm like, oh my gosh, I get that. And it's so sad because it's like already given our colonial context. And for us, I was at a seminar at some point, and they spoke about, yes, the fight against racial injustice is so important and it's so timely, but gender injustice precedes racial injustice. And I'm thinking, how many times have we actually thought about that?
Like, overlap too.
Time immemorial. Like, I'm Christian, and even when I go to the Bible, there's certain parts where I'm like a bit like
side eye.
But why?
Well, what's happening?
Yeah, and I've had these conversations. We've laughed and sort of like debated with my family, and I was like, I wish the way that the Bible had been written had been slightly different, in that women could also identify themselves in Scripture, because for males and those that identify as males, they can identify themselves in a lot of people within Scripture. True. Even within God's identity himself, being referred to as a father. You identify, like, and then as a woman, you're like,
they always bring up Eve first. Like, that's the first and ultimate way. Anytime you have a biblical conversation with anyone, it's always, but Eve is the one who ate the apple and convinced Adam.
Yeah.
So what actually are women? And then it brings into question a lot of things, but we don't even see ourselves as change makers or anything.
Or knowledge bearers.
Yes.
Like, I participated, I gave a keynote at an event, and I did bring up the story of Eve. And I went through the Scripture again, and I was like, there's certain inherent qualities that God had gave Eve, which were being nurturing and being empathetic. So at that time, yes, she's deceived into seeing this fruit as good. And now at that moment in which she thinks it's good, she decides, let me share it with my companion.
Yes.
But that's not the narrative that we take from that. It's,
she put him in trouble.
Exactly.
She got him in trouble.
She brought doom upon upon the world. So
looking at something and saying,
thinking,
the snake deceived her and used her empathy.
Use her empathy against them, and that's unfortunately the world that we're living in now, where you're like, how many times are my inherent good qualities going to be completely gaslighted and twisted and used for my downfall? How many times am I going to feel powerless? So here's Kat, comes to NMU, already a graduate, and she's like, I'm gonna do this for a second time around.
I'm gonna put myself
got this and I'm gonna do it big. I'm going to law because I'm like, I have a voice, I have a gift, but I need a certain knowledge to complement what I already have. And then to hear that this Kat that we know, and we're like, we're hyping you, like, and you're talking about being powerless. I'm like, how is that even possible?
It's strange hearing you literally say, I feel like I do not have any influence. And I'm just like, have you seen yourself speak? I think I've adopted certain aspects of your style,
right,
in my facilitation. You listen and you take in information and you grasp it, and then it shows there's a certain type of understanding you exhibit when you tell the people what it is that you heard, how you understood it, and ask questions. I think I've liked that and I've adopted it, and I hope you know that you are influential. You literally.
I hope in the right way. I hope I'm. I hope I'm not mobbing people and rallying them to the pits. But yeah, Kat, we're laughing, and I don't want this to be misconstrued as we're making light
of a very serious situation.
Of a very serious situation, of all the loss that our institution has suffered. By no means is that what this is about. But I think in, us conceptualizing this series, it was to try and bring us to our most authentic form of ourselves, of humanity. Hence, I was like, Kat, we can't write a concept document and have pre-prepared questions. You'll see, I have nothing in fact, because I wanted those who listen to us, those who view this episode, to feel like I see myself in Kat. Kat is me. Like, there's a time when I felt powerless in a situation where things were happening in my community, and I felt like
I could have done something.
I could have, but I didn't have the tools to do anything, or to feel constantly that I'm invisible in spaces where there's hyper visualization, but I am invisible in that space. And I think that's the essence of why we're here, Kat. And we kind of want to deep dive into this surge of gender-based violence among the youth specifically, but in institutions of higher learning. Like, what do you think we're getting wrong, or what are we doing wrong? Like, because every day there's something new happening, devastating, and like we know, the university is a microcosm, it's a reflection of society. So this is happening in society too,
an even bigger rate.
Exactly. So it's not just happening in our university, it's happening in other universities. There's a lot going on for us as a nation. Where are we getting this wrong? As I'll say, as young people, I want to put myself in there. Yes. So where are we getting this wrong, Kat? Like, what's going on?
I think looking at what universities do. Look, there's policy.
Okay.
And we don't doubt that there's policy that is out there. We have legislation even in the country at a national, provincial level, And so we understand that you've probably had the foresight to think, if this type of situation happened, how would we deal with it? So in as much as it's legislated and well written and the policies are there, the implementation is absolutely horrible. I think that's one of the biggest things that we face here at the school. Our implementation of certain policies is really far off to the reality faced by students. And that's one of the biggest things. We over-legislate everything, but the implementation is horrible. One of the memos that they sent out on the 7th of November was after the Memorandum of Demands, after the Student Lives Matter March. And one of the first things was the question that, why is it that a perpetrator was allowed back on campus? And why is it that somebody has to be re-traumatized? And the response from the university was they had not expedited the no contact plea. And you think about it and you're thinking, the bureaucracy, I think if we look at it in realistically, if you are sexually assaulted, one of the first things that you have to do is you have to make sure you don't bath. In order for your body is a crime scene. There is evidence all over you. So you have to carry all of that. And then you have to go to the hospital where an invasive procedure happens, where now they're taking account of all of the things that have happened to you in order to compile a rape kit. After that, you have to go to the pharmacy and you have to get a morning after pill. You have to get started on PrEP. And you have to make sure that anything else, any fallout from this is held together by medical practitioners. Even while still doing that, you still have to undergo counseling services. You have to talk to the police. You have to sit for hours in a hospital. It's all daunting for somebody who just went through something horrific, something so humiliating and so painful. And it strips you of your dignity.
Okay.
And I think layers are peeled back consistently after that. At a university level with policies, you would hope that I've done all I can to make sure that, I have the strong grasp of the evidence that is going to be put forth. I would hope that the university would protect me by making sure that I do not run into my perpetrator. And then also, which means you have to go through the process. Not only do you have to go through the process of a hospital and a psychologist and at a pharmacy, now you also have to come here and face bureaucratic red tape at the university and say, you know what, I am putting forth this complaint and I'm asking that it be expedited because I don't want to see said person. And so you have to go through all of these channels. That is a really horrible process to have to go through. And I think we don't register the reality of the implementation of policies when they are written and when they are put forth. So the main problem is implementation, honestly.
I get you, Kat, and I completely understand. And it's so, like you said, it's so heavy, as you take us through, some of the processes and sort of the frame of mind that one would be in after, being violated. And I don't think anything can ever put you, restore that dignity.
Absolutely.
Because I think that's the biggest violation that's happened at that time, is that your dignity has essentially been stripped from you. But it's not a but it's just like, for me also to sort of understand as well the framing of our youth, in that I want to understand for our youth as well. I understand that, like you said, there's legislation and there's policy, and there has to be implementation of that policy, and that's true. There are active role players that need to act and act promptly. As the youth and as other persons that we socialize with, our circles, our friends, do we as the youth, do our circles also have responsibilities? Or because why I'm asking this is I'm trying to get to these policies, and this legislation, Kat, is like responsive. I'm trying to understand, how do we not get here, or how do we lessen the rates at which we're getting here? Because what is alarming me is the rates at which we are getting here. So yes, we may have policy and legislation, but the rates to which we're getting here is such that it's so overwhelming and so staggering that even the system collapses. So
Because of the amount of things.
Because remember, at the end of the day, we talk about the institution and we talk about policy, but these matters are also handled by people, much like us as well, who maybe, without also knowing their frame of mind, that person that is actually assisting you with your case maybe has the empathy because they were also once victimized. And they chose and said, I want to be Kat, I want to make an impact.
And I want to make sure this doesn't happen to anyone.
I want to make sure this doesn't happen. I want to make sure that the person that one speaks to is one who's not just going to write a statement and send me off. They're going to be a person that's going to hold my hand and let me cry and let me say, I'm not ready, and say, okay, can we talk tomorrow? It's going to be that person that's going to give me human care.
Yes.
So my thing is, are there other role players? Are there others that also have responsibility besides just law enforcement and besides just the university and medical practice? Are there other? Because I'm trying to go back to our system of Africanness as well. when something happens to Kat, it happens to us. Hence, when we prosecute something criminally, it's S versus
because
the state, us, the community. This that you did was a wrong to the community. So yes, it directly happened to Adelaide, or it directly but we all felt it because we all rallied and we all felt injured. So I'm saying, in times of crisis, is it just law enforcement, medical practitioners, and the university, and that implementation of processes and expediting things? Do other people also play a role?
I think yes. And I'll say this. Our communities are people that play a role. And community isn't just like your next door neighbor and whatever else. It's your family, it's your friends. Disclosing something as big as a sexual assault is... It takes a lot out of you.
Yeah.
It really
drains
does.
the life out of you.
It does. And more often than not, it's because of the fact that you're thinking, are they going to believe me first? And if they do believe me, what is their reaction going to be?
Right.
Are they going to want to hurt the person? What are they going to do? And what does this mean for them? So when you're a victim or a survivor of something this heartbreaking, you're thinking about all of the other people and not really yourself. Community should be people who mirror back to you who is most important. You, in this instant, the person who is going through this. So stop worrying about whoever it is out there and how they think and what they feel. Our communities are supposed to be there to say, look, first of all, I am so sorry this happened to you. But second, I am acknowledging the amount of grief that it's going to take. I am going to be there with you and stand alongside you. Sometimes my presence is the only thing you're going to need besides my words. So our communities are there to reiterate the fact that this is wrong. What happened to you was absolutely wrong. And we're going to rally around you enough for you to feel like you can carry whatever it is because we're carrying it with you. So you are right that society itself is impacted by what happens with us. And our communities, more than anything, are the ones that are mostly shaped by this. Because however which way you change after having experienced something like that, it's going to affect your interpersonal relationships. And it's going to affect how you relate to people. So the best way is for your people to not just be informed, but your people to be sensitive enough to understand the gravity of what it is that just happened to you and how long it's going to take for you to be able to make peace with it, if ever. And being able to carry you when you or yourself are not strong enough to stand. And I think the discomfort is when we look at student leaders, it becomes really political. Whereas with your people, it really is, we're here for you. We are not here to push a narrative. We're not here to say something about, we're here for you and what happened to you and how horrendous it is, and making sure that not only do you survive something like this, but you're able to live with it, even sometimes when we're not in the room to carry you through. So yes, I would like to believe that there are other people that are impacted by this, that really are responsible, I guess, for helping you get through something like this, and community above anything else. Because in an institution like this, you feel like anybody who's working in the institution has the institution in mind and not really the student.
Okay.
So the fear is you get there and you say all of these things and you speak about perpetrators and the like, but you're thinking, if this person maybe holds, a position of power, they're going to be very well protected. So who then is there to protect me?
Right.
And your community, more often than not, is the exact people who would do that. Yeah.
I get you, Kat, because my thing is, like I'm saying, hence I'm asking about, are there other people who must also, with this institution and law enforcement, also carry this sack with us? Why I'm saying this to you is, Kat, when it's month end, and I do my grocery shopping for the entire month, I'm extremely hurt by the amount of students that I see purchasing alcohol and the quantities at which they're purchasing. It's normally soon after NSFAS has paid. And you will know that certain malls, certain liquor shops are inundated with young people.
Yeah.
And for me, I come from a background of academia as well. And I'm thinking, this could be my student. They may have had a test. Or they have a test tomorrow. Like, why are you here?
How lit the night before.
Yeah. And that's what I'm sort of trying to get to, because I'm like, I want us to focus more on prevention, preventative behaviors. And for me, that's my thing of, it's good to have a student life. It's good to have a balance. When I go out with Kat and all my friends, and we go out as girls, I mean, I feel like we need to have a code of conduct that says, when we reach this party, if Kat is going to the bathroom, we're all going to the bathroom. If we leave our drinks, we're not coming back and we're not drinking those drinks. And if we came as a group of 5, we're are leaving as a group of 5. You understand what I'm saying? So for me, that's what I'm asking. Or is it more of us that need to have this? Because we must not just say, yes, the university and law enforcement, but me. Yes. I went out with Kat and I left Kat at that place, and I knew Kat was drunk, and I knew that there was a possibility that Kat could be harmed. Did I not have a moral obligation to say, Kat, that's enough. We're out. We're going.
Definitely.
So for me, that's the kind of reflective thinking that I'm wanting our young people to do at this moment, because I'm worried about the rates to which we are consuming alcohol and other substances. And I'm worried about whether there is something else that we're also trying to suppress.
Absolutely. That
then shows up in these violent patterns. I'm no psychologist, guys. I have no degree in psychology. I'm just saying. Because if we look at our history as a country as well, during apartheid, what was it that we had access to?
Alcohol.
We had no access to education, but we
and it was always alcohol placed strategically near your workplace.
Exactly.
Just before you got home.
Exactly.
So to make sure that you spend most of your money in this place before you get home.
It's a loop. So that's what I'm asking. I'm saying, is there something systemic that we need to go back and really say, listen, I think our problem is bigger than this.
Yeah.
Is there something that we need to sit down as young people, besides when we're having drinks, and have these critical conversations of, guys, what do we want to do with our lives? We've finally gotten into an institution of higher learning, and that is a privilege. There's somebody else who also wanted to be Adelaide, who wanted to be Kat, but they never had that chance. And now I'm here. And I know, for instance, for myself, I'm the first in my family to get a PhD.
Oh, wow.
So you know
that's a big deal. You're a generational curse breaker.
Exactly. So you get to this space and you're like, I am carrying that. There are people who fought for me to be here. A number of years ago, I wouldn't have been at UJ.
That's a lot of pressure.
Wouldn't have been at NMU. And someone lost their life
to guarantee this.
To guarantee this future for me. So I am by no means saying that policy mustn't be implemented and certain institutions and departments that are there for our protection and security should do their job. But I'm saying, as Africans, let's collectively take this on in our spaces as young people, let's sit and let's have these critical discussions of, for you as a male or someone who identifies as male, for you to think that you have the right to somebody else's body, even when they say, what frames your thinking that that's okay? What frames your thinking that because I bought you a 6-pack of Savannah, I must go home with you? What's that? Those are, I'm saying, let's open those spaces for that critical dialogue. Let's have that discourse. Let's actually fix this trauma that we have, because there's a trauma, Kat. We need to, as young people. Hence, I was saying, what type of conversations do you guys have in your circles? Is it the I don't know, I'm just a girl, a soft life type of conversation? In Dodamast, I'm not about broke guys, and my weave must be on fleek, and my nails this, a girlfriend allowance. And are those the conversations that we're having? Are we having the conversations of, Kat, I have your back. If something happens to you, I got you. Like, bang on my door and we will go together. If I must go to the transformation office with you to lodge your case, I'm going to sit by the door whilst you have your consultation.
And make sure that you carry me through it.
And then after that, we're going to go to the beach and have an ice cream or whatever. If you want to go to protection services, I'm not going to let you walk to protection services on your own. I'm going to go to protection services with you. Is that the type of unism the youth has? That type of youth that we knew from 1976 that was willing to stand up and say,
we'll shut down this entire country.
And not for a partisan cause, but for human rights. We all have access to human rights. So that's what I'm asking. Is that how we mobilize ourselves and say, it's study time? Let's go as a group to the library and study. We're a bunch of law students. Let's share crypt notes. Let's do past papers. Did you submit your assignment? Let's have a research hub. Are those the corners and the spaces that you're having? Or do we have corners where we're vaping and we're getting intoxicated? Like, I'm trying to say, is that balance there? Like, I'm all for having a good time.
Yeah, but also remember why you're here. Ultimately,
are we mobilizing to say, depending on what you believe, let's pray? Are we mobilizing for that and saying, no, our country is wounded, our university is wounded. Let's go to main building and let's pray. I'm just trying to find out, like, are those the conversations that we're having? Or is it, I'm going to go online and I'm going to completely blow this thing up. And I'm going to share people's identities and I'm going to say, let's go mob and attack them. Or I'm just trying to understand, like, what's the youth mindset here? Like,
I'll tell you this. When I moved to PE, I think one of the biggest culture shocks was the drinking culture here.
Yeah.
The drinking culture here was like a very, very big culture shock. Because I was just like, I mean, I've been to varsity. I know what it's like. You know what it's like to go out at night, have a drink or two, come back with your friends, have a recoup in the morning, like what happened, you know, type thing. We know the rules when we're going out. No open drinks. We came together, we leave together. If at any point you need to go to the bathroom, we're all going to the bathroom. If at any point you disappear from the party, you need your location consistently. We need to know where you are, who you're with, and if we know this person.
If we're in an Uber, we share the location with somebody else who's also tracking that we got there. We're not just getting into unknown rides.
Can you imagine? These are all of the fail-safes that we're putting in place. Mind you, this is all to prevent ourselves from getting hurt by somebody. Not getting your drink spiked, not being kidnapped, not being taken, not being killed, and the like. So the drinking culture here was a very, very big shock, because hey, the weekend starts on a Wednesday here.
Yeah,
it's a very different type of lifestyle. But I'll say this, there's a lot of community. If there's anything that PE, especially NMU, has taught me, they've taught me about community and what it means to form part of a community, and what it means to be supported by one. So yes, there are conversations that usually happen, especially with the old cadres and all that, where they'll be like, the current situation that we're facing is, you know what I mean, and they'll lit off a few drinks and whatever, but they talk about the state of things at the institution, what it looks like, and what it means for us as people, individuals, to actually take part in making sure that not only do we disrupt the status quo, but we make sure that we leave this institution better than when we found it.
Exactly.
Those conversations are happening. They're there.
Okay.
So yes, I think being a journalist has allowed me to see quite a lot of people. So I am privy to the Christian groups that come together and make sure that, okay, you know what, we have home cell on a Wednesday at 8 o'clock at the CAF, pull through.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And sometimes political organizations will be like, just before or after you guys have your home cell, we've got a meal a day initiative. Here's some food for you.
Love that.
So there is that. We are seeing community is there. It is
the
available.
Soup kitchens and the residences.
Everything.
I think the vegetable gardens or the food gardens. Definitely. And I get you. And I think that's so critical that you said this, because I think one thing that we might have a problem with as society is that we are very quick to shame very bad when things go wrong, but very, very limited in applauding when things are going right.
True.
So I like that you have brought, because I don't think we've recognized enough of what is going right, what is being done, what students are doing, what certain staff is doing, because there are I will tell you, Kat, there are staff that dedicate their lives to students, like their own families are neglected, but for students you're like, I'm here for you. So it would be nice, in the same way that we as Chris Rock said, the selective outrage.
Yes.
In the same way that we have the right to be angry, and we must be angry, and we must be vocal about our anger, must we also be vocal about our applause.
Yes.
And say, you know, when Kat was a student leader, things she did 1, 2, and 3.
Yes. Being able to reflect on
and
that.
These are the changes that we have. This is why we always talk about all our, our fallen heroes nationally, because we're saying there's something that they did. We're here.
We made an impact.
There's something that went right.
Did.
So I think those are all lessons for us as well, in that I think, yes, the way we do things institutionally needs to change.
Definitely.
The way we do things as a country needs to change. But I also think the way the youth takes ownership of their lives needs to change.
Absolutely.
Only you have that power to change the course, the trajectory of your life. Every single one of us, I was listening to a podcast this other day, and one of the speakers said, life itself, birth itself is a trauma, because the process to which you are born, hence the first thing you do is cry.
Yeah.
So that entire process is traumatic, because you've been in a cocoon, you've been safe for 9 months, and now you're being told, there you are into the world.
Yeah.
So every single one of us has trauma. it may be different in terms of the type of trauma that we have or the type of experiences that we have. And I think hence I keep on talking about collectivism, because there's healing in that culture of togetherness. Because I'm not saying we must trauma bond, but I'm saying that allows us to be human.
True.
It allows me to say, I see you.
And you feel seen. I think I've seen that in, I think oftentimes we're asked, how do we take care of men and their mental health and the like. Anytime a conversation about femicide comes to, there's always just, that dissenting argument, what about men?
Yeah.
This institution can never, ever, ever say, no one here can ever say, what about men? There is Singamatota, there's Ebuhlanti. And seeing the work that they do, this is that collective spirit. Ebuhlanti by right, it's a crown. And this is, traditionally where men sit and they have a conversation. And they talk about different things, what's happening in society, what's happening in their respective families and the like. And what I've liked about this, especially because I hear testimonies from different people, is there's something about, I think this is Mr. Yanga Lusasa. And he's so persistent in the work that he does, in the sense that he's just like, look, we can sit here and we can talk about all of these issues, and it's great collectively, that's fine. But individually, I can see that you're going through something. So if at any point in time you feel like, there's discomfort in having to express yourself around this big group of people, let the group leave.
And stay behind.
And then stay behind. They're not going to see anything different. You're going to be sitting there. You'll just act like maybe you're just cleaning up the tables and the chairs and the like. And in those moments, we can have a conversation. I am a man myself, and I understand what it is that you're going through. So let me understand your upbringing and what led you to being the way that you are, to feeling the way that you are. Because university is a brand new experience. It's completely different from anything that you're used to.
True.
You are fully independent.
You can never prepare yourself for this experience, no matter what you do.
No one's going to smack you if you don't go to class. No one's going to wake you up in the middle of the night to decide to study. You have to do all of these things. So it's actually, it questions, it's a question of just, are you able to be disciplined enough to get through this?
Hence, I'm saying the institution has a role, who has a role, but also
you yourself
have a.
You need to be able to discipline yourself and say, you know what? I said I was coming here to university to get this education. Let me get this education, and so it's programs like those where you are able to sit and be seen and feel seen in those instances, and you're like, okay, so I'm not the only person with this thought process. Right. Not the only person who came from a household where it was decided that the man would be the head of the household, where the man was so financially abusive that we all relied on him financially. But if ever he got mad at any one of us, he'd pull funding from everyone.
Cut you off.
And you would be stranded because of that. Now you're coming back and you're like, I need to be able to take control of my life.
Yeah.
And that control looks like you controlling your friends, controlling your intimate partners, and you don't realize where does that stem from. And so when you're in these programs, you're able to sit and be like, okay, we're realizing that quite a lot of you are saying that, men are supposed to be strong and whatever. Who taught you that? Where did you learn that? Who saw your tears and shamed you out of them? What happens now? What does it mean to be a man in modern day South Africa?
Sure.
It's not about Uvulisekel and being able to be Moreki or Makutsumel. It's not going to be that. But what does it mean to be a man in South Africa, knowing the type of men that are in this society? So it's become very scary right now, especially on campus, because we can acknowledge all of these programs, but we're also seeing these programs, yes, are garnered towards maybe your first years and the like. Seniors are the ones who are perpetrating. They are the ones who are doing these things, and you're questioning, okay, what is it that we can provide for these seniors so we can see what is going on in your mind? What is happening? What led you to making these types of decisions? And also, why?
Yeah, why?
But there are so many underlying things that happen.
It's so layered.
It's so many things, and it's so layered that if you begin to unpack one thing, it literally is also impacting another. And it's sad. it's also very, very worrying. But we can never ever say that there has not been the voice of, I think, men in any of these conversations. Okay. The only problem that comes in is with women. And my biggest fear for women is when a woman has been hurt, she thinks about, like I said, everybody else. So she thinks about the perpetrator's future, protecting him and making sure, because more often than not, they're like, okay, a man hit you and whatever, but he's so young. What about his future? Imagine him having a criminal record. And you're thinking to yourself, what about me? What about what I've just gone through? Am I not worthy of any empathy? Should I not be thought of first? Because he definitely didn't think about me. And I'm still having to think about him and everybody else in society. And more often than not, society coddles perpetrators and people who hurt others. And the victims and survivors are often made to feel like they have to be perfect in order to even be considered a decent survivor or a victim. You cannot say that the passing of the 2 girls in Pretoria after being shot after a night out, the perception on social media was it was groove. They drank that man's money and he shot them.
Sure.
And you don't think about the fact, and when you finally heard the story, it was, this is a man who's been controlling this one woman this entire time. And so on a night out with her cousin, there was an altercation like many others they've had before. Unfortunately, this one ended up taking her life. So then everybody's is mum now. Now it's not groove culture. It's men are literally using the control that they have over these women, be it financially or otherwise, and they're actually taking advantage of that. And if you decide to check them and their power, you could end up losing your life. And how sad it is that sometimes it isn't even someone that you know or your partner. It could be you walking into a post office. And this man thinking, you know what, I'm
coming from buying your groceries.
Anything could happen.
The taxi driver.
Exactly. And people don't think the way I guess maybe women do. You know, these rules that we have when we go out, they're to protect us. Because we've heard many a story about a girl going out at night and having her drink spiked and waking up the next morning half naked in a bed she doesn't know. And then you are accused, why were you drinking that much? Who bought these drinks? What did you think would happen? So girls are consistently being told, okay, wear long dresses around men. Do not show off and do the most around men, because that means you're enticing them. Grown men who are supposed to be responsible for their own attractions are now putting all of these things onto us as young women. I had somebody tell me recently, they were like, how did you recognize? There was a car that passed us like 3 times. It was a quid. And I remember saying, this is the 3rd time this car's just passed. And that person was just like, what do you mean this is the 3rd time this passed? What do you mean by that? Like, have you been seeing this car? I'm like, yeah, I know the registration plate now off by heart. Because when you're walking around, you're absolutely hyper vigilant as a young woman. You have to be. You have no choice.
That's the society that we live in.
If you slip once, you could quite literally lose your life. And that's one of the scariest things that you could ever experience. Because ultimately, when they tell you that a man is stronger than a woman, any man out there, if a man decided to buck up and like use his power and the amount of strength he had, how would I be able to defend myself against that?
It's because physiologically we do have differences. And hence, when we started off, I asked you, it's quite sad that those God-given characteristics about you
used against us.
So hence, the take care, the empathy, it's maneuvered in that way of, no, but don't. No, you
this
must
is what a Mogoto does. You're strong.
Drop the case.
You can handle it.
They do that. He'll change. And you're also thinking,
we'll talk to him as a family. He'll do better. We're so sorry that this happened to you. It won't happen again. We promise. Drop the charges. He won't come near you ever again. And then you find that these people will walk into, a space that you're in randomly, and there's nothing you can do about it. And the worst part about it is the psychological warfare in your mind leads you to having a panic attack. And you're there shaking, unaware of literally your surroundings at that point, and it's because of the fact that this one person just triggered you so badly.
Yeah.
I think we treat depression and anxiety like these popular terms that come out now, like toxicity.
Yeah, and it's like everybody's depressed, everyone's got anxiety, everyone is traumatized.
Like, do you know
what that actually means? Yeah.
Because depression isn't just being sad on a random day. Depression is sometimes not being able to get out of bed and take a shower for like 3 straight days.
It's because you're literally weak. Like I suffer from chronic depression and anxiety, so I know, and I'm very open about it. I don't hide my diagnosis. A lot of people are like, no, why would you say that? Like, people are gonna like think you're weak or whatever. And actually for me, it's not even that. It's like I'm trying to get some little girl out there to identify that those feelings that you have, I have them.
Absolutely true.
Where it's too much of a task to get up and bathe myself. It takes a lot of willpower. It takes a lot of energy. Where you're so tired that you're telling me, which is a minimal task, is a
it's a mountain.
Lot.
I think I also have depression and anxiety, and I take medication for it.
Me too.
And the thing is, my roommate in first year, I remember her saying, I envy healthy people. Because if you are a regular human being who's able-bodied, you can leave the house not having eaten breakfast, not having had water, and you'll probably get through the day. If I do the same thing, I will collapse by 9 o'clock.
Wow.
That's the sad part about it. I have to take my epilepsy medication. I have to take my antidepressants. I have to make sure that I take them all on time at a specific time every single day.
Yeah, me too. Mine is at night. So,
really? Oh, you're so lucky.
No, like I have hypertension as well.
Okay.
So I'm just like, so that I don't forget, I'm like, just let me just like masala everything at night, because I'm also like wanting the calm. Sometimes I struggle with sleep and all. So I'm just hitting everything.
Everything at once.
Yeah,
and then you sleep and you wake up the next day.
Yeah, because I'm like, with the way my days are set up,
my God, they're so chaotic.
Yeah, so I'm like, you know what? And my pill box stays close to my bedside, so
definitely
I'm conscious of. Okay, now it's time. When I'm here at the office, like,
there's no time.
Who's gonna remember?
You'll forget. There's so many things to do in an office.
Exactly.
Yeah, like the common thing is saying like anxiety and depression and all that. Look, it's one thing to feel sad, but over a period of time when you feel like you can't even get out of bed, when you can't even function,
it's who you are. It's chronic.
You feel yourself slipping, and winter is also probably the worst time for that. Because not only is your bed really, really, really warm, it's cold outside. But then once you stay in that bed for as long as you do, you realize just how unhealthy it is.
Yeah.
You'll be ordering in takeaways because you're not able to cook. Or sometimes you
go isolate
without cooking.
Tendencies as well. There's been days that you haven't spoken to anyone.
Yeah, and being far, I think being at a university, being far from everybody and everything that you know can also be quite daunting in that experience. Because then maybe you're here as a first year and you're depressed and you don't know what the cause is and you don't know what exactly it is to be depressed.
Exactly. Yeah.
So now you don't talk to your parents and you don't talk to your family. They're freaking out at home wondering what happened to this child. And there's news now of students passing away at Nelson Mandela University after her freshers. And your parents are wondering, was she there? What happened? Does she know her way around NMU or even Nelson Mandela Bay in general?
Or just like suicide ideation, like even if it's not gender-based violence specific.
Sometimes it just really is mental health related.
Yeah, I think hence you're saying the way we do things should change. Maybe with the intake of students, there has to be some form of mental wellness assessment process that we do, just so that we can gauge as well of the need. Because it's only now when we see this that we see, okay, actually, the resources that we have, like I said, are literally collapsing at the weight of, because it's only then that we see the need.
There's
for
like
these.
A bunch of students going through things, and only so many counselors that can help in a certain amount of time in any case. And now we're at the very end of the year. We have people with exam stress, but we also have people that are literally triggered by the things that are happening in this country.
Yes.
So you're seeing purple everywhere, and it's reminding you of the fact that you are a survivor or a victim of something this really horrendous. And now you're thinking to yourself, I have so much going on. Who is going to hear me? And then you try to call up counseling services, and they're like, we're fully booked. Can we take you in next week? And the thing is, I've said this more often. I've said this a lot. Yes, there is no such thing as a free lunch. Some things here at this institution that are available, if you get free healthcare at this university, you pay for it with your dignity. If you get free shuttles at the institution, you pay for it with your time. So either way, you're paying, and sometimes it comes at a cost to you personally. And that's the most horrific thing. Not being able to have money. I think funding is such a very big thing in that we look at it like, oh no, there's no tuition fees, accommodation, and what the like. Sometimes you don't have medical aid. And now you are somebody who is depressed and you're on medication. Now you have to go.
It's expensive.
To the clinic. And at the clinic, they're telling you, it's above us. You are taking Schedule 5 medications. We can't prescribe that to you. We're not doctors. We are medical practitioners, but we're not going to be able to do that for you. So the best thing you can do is go to a hospital and hope for the best. Hospital lines are long. I remember I spent close to 12 hours one night in a hospital, and still we hadn't gotten helped. Just sitting there in the waiting area. And that should tell you enough about the public healthcare system. It should tell you enough about the university and the capacity problems that they're facing.
Yeah.
So just in as much as we can cry that, we have to wait, like we want shuttles and whatever, you're going to wait for a very long time. Because one thing about the shuttle drivers, they don't leave until their allotted time.
Sure.
In the clinic, they're definitely going to look at you like, what are you expecting me to do? You said you're depressed. What must happen now? I'm not a counselor. Go get a counselor. I can't prescribe you medications. Go to a doctor. And then you're sitting there without any money, without any type of recourse, and you're thinking, there's nothing I can do, and the only way out is to end it all.
Sure.
And how horrible it must feel to be able to sit in a room and not being able to be helped by anybody, feeling so helpless, in fact, that you isolate yourself even further from your family and friends back home, your community, the people that would hold you down. And unfortunately, sometimes depression is such a big liar that it actually convinces you that no one cares.
Yeah, I was gonna say that because there's voices.
It will convince you no one cares.
Voices.
You're doing too much.
So people are calling you, and you put their phone on silent.
Absolutely.
People are emailing you saying, "Come, we can help you," and you're non-responsive.
It's just like, what is the point of this? Because we're always gonna come back to here. We'll always end up back in this room. It's never gonna go away. In this bed.
Yeah.
And it's worrying. It really is.
Yeah, it's a lot. As I said, this wasn't like a promo campaign. I should have named this episode Real Talk. I should have named the series Real Talk, but essentially this is what we've done. And I hope this real talk that we've had encourages others to real talk more, to come forward. And I do agree things have to change. How things are going needs to change. Everything in all our institutions, in our country, everywhere, everything needs to change. And I think also we need to change. Like how we care for others needs to change. So when I see, and I know Kat is a bubbly person, or now I know Kat has epilepsy, Kat has depression and anxiety. If I haven't seen Kat for a while, I should be worried.
Something's going on.
And I should be like, who has seen, who do I need to ask? Like, I haven't seen that girl. Like, you know,
something's happening.
And I think that's what the call is for all of this, of community. Like we love to sing this song, but is this who we are in practice? Everything needs to change. Like everything, every single thing. And I think it's unfair to put that weight on just one entity. Hence I said everything needs to change.
From society itself,
Exactly.
individuals, everyone else.
Everyone else, because at the end of the day, even those that are providing assistance are also just mere mortals, like you, and maybe they've experienced the same thing, so they also have to condition themselves away from the triggers, because sometimes also hearing your story and providing that support is also a trigger, because they're humans. They cannot be robotic. You can't say no, but this person should have known how to handle it. It's not practical, it's not sustainable. So I just think our compassion, our Africanness, now more than ever, it really needs to come to the fore. And we need to look at new pathways of healing our institution, healing ourselves, healing our young people, healing our country. And I think that's what the takeaway. I've learned a lot from what you shared, but I think we're all hurting. And I think it's maybe time, after all the hustle and bustle is done, exams are done and all of that, just need to take that time to really
connect with self.
Yeah.
Everybody's waiting for the part where they can breathe out.
Yeah.
Everybody, it's like we're all holding our breath, waiting for something.
There's a lot of tension, and we need to.
Yeah.
And I think that's more work that needs to be done by those who are capable of doing that. I as I said, I don't have those capabilities. I'm not. I have no psychology background or anything. I'm just a lawyer, like Kat said. but I really enjoyed my time with you.
Thank you so much.
And I hope you'll be back. And as I said, this is a 3-part series. Our next episode will have a masculinity voice sharing their angle, and from there we'll have another episode where we also speak about disability activism and human rights activism and the intersectionality between disability activism and gender-based violence activism. So it's a very fun series, and I'm looking forward to the next episode, and I hope this is helpful for you. Kat, any parting words for us?
First, thanks for having me. I think if there's anything I want for everybody, I think it's compassion. Yeah. Meeting any and every situation with compassion. But also, there's a line between when certain things happen and the actions that you have afterwards. I want us to be very careful during this particular period in time. Okay. Because things are very tense and it could erupt into any violence at any point in time. And it's understandable because the people are tired. Yeah. But we also need to understand the fact that sometimes those things do not help. That violence is not only it's not going to help anybody, it's just going to beget more violence. So meet every situation that you have with compassion and understand that you are seen and trust. We've experienced similar things. So if ever you need anybody, if you need an ear, reach out. You have community, you have people.
Yeah. And I think the resources have been shared. Lifeline, the 24-hour. The Rape Crisis Center, Tutuzela, FAMSA. Outside the institution, I'm just saying there's other resources as well. But we're here for you, and we try our best. That's all I can say. But thank you so much, everybody. Much love and peace. Bye.